Here are the notes for system of equations, eliminations, and applications. So here it says to solve by elimination, number one, you line up the equations, multiply one or both equations by a number to result in a variable with the same coefficient. And then you're going to add or subtract the equation to eliminate this variable, solve for the remaining variable, substitute your answer from step 4 into either original equation to find the other variable. All right, so for number one, first, you want to make sure they're lined up together so the x's are in a line, the y's are in a line, and the constants are on the right side. So pretty much that's standard form. So here we're going to look to eliminate one of the variables. And if you look, you can see the y's are already opposites. So we can actually cross these y's out when we add. So here we have x plus x is going to be 2x. And then 7y minus 7y is 0, so we don't need that. And 17 minus 7 is 10. So I pretty much just do what it says. If they're positive, I add. If one of them is negative, I subtract. So 1x plus 1x is 2x. 17 minus 7 is 10. And then to solve this here, to solve for x, we're going to divide both sides by 2. And we get x is equal to 5. And I'm going to circle this because I'm going to come back to that in a sec. Now I'm going to take this x equals 5. I'm going to plug it into one of the original equations. So we'll plug that into the first equation right here. So I'm going to plug it into x plus 7y is equal to 17. I'm going to change this x right here to the 5. So 5 plus 7y is equal to 17. To solve for y, we're going to subtract 5 from each side. So 7y is equal to 12. Divide by 7. And I can't reduce 12 over 7, so y equals 12 divided by 7. Now, if you recall, an ordered pair has to be x comma y. So for this answer here, it's going to be 5 comma 12 over 7 parentheses, and there's my answer. Now, you can always check your answer by taking 5 as x and 12 sevenths as y and plugging it into the original 2, and you'll see that they're both going to turn out to be true. All right, for number 2. So for number 2, again, we're looking for to eliminate one of the variables here. We're going to eliminate the y's, and the reason why again is one is 2y and one is negative 2y, so they're already opposites of each other. So let's go and draw a line here. So we're going to combine our terms. So 3x plus 5x is 8x, 2y minus 2y is 0, and 22 plus 42 is 64. To solve this, we would divide both sides by 8. And 8x divided by 8 is x. 64 divided by 8 is 8. All right, now we're going to take that and plug it back into one of the original ones. I'm going to plug it into the first one. So here you'll see it. It's going to be 3x plus 2y is equal to 22. So I'm plugging in for x right here. So 3 times 8 plus 2y is equal to 22. 3 times 8 is 24. Plus 2y is equal to 22. So now we're going to solve for y. We're going to subtract the 24 to the other side. So 24 minus 24 is 0. We bring down that 2y. 22 minus 24 is negative 2. Last, to isolate the y, we divide both sides by 2. And we get y is equal to negative 1. So my coordinates is 8 comma negative 1, which is x comma y. All right, on to the next one. So for this next one here, you'll notice that they're already lined up in standard form. X is on top of x's, then y is in a column, and then constants on the right side. But this time, you'll notice there's no opposites. So sometimes I try to look for ones that are multiples of each other. Like if this was a 4, then I can multiply this by 2 to get to the 4. But that case doesn't happen. So whenever there's nothing you can really find that's common, you're actually going to multiply each number by a number to eliminate them. So, like, for example, I want to get rid of the x's. I want to eliminate the x's. So usually what I do is I look at the number here, and I bring that to the top. And I take the number on the top, and I move it to the bottom. Now, the one thing you have to make sure is that they're opposites, right? Because right now, if I multiply this, 2 times 5x is 10x. And 5 times 2x is 10x, but they're not going to cancel out because they're the opposites. So in this case, I'm going to have to make one of them negative. It does not matter. I'll just pick the bottom one to be negative. All right. Now I'm going to distribute this. 2 times 5x is 10x. 2 times 3y is positive 6y equals, and then we multiply all the way across the equal sign. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. Now we're going to distribute the negative 5 in the second row. Negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 7y is negative 35y equals, and negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Now we're going to combine our like terms. So 10x minus 10x is 0. 6y minus 35y is negative 29y equals negative 14 minus 15 is negative 29. Divide both sides by negative 29. And then we get y is equal to positive 1. We're going to take that and plug it back into the originals. I'm going to pick the first one because that has smaller numbers. So this time I'm going to just write it in there. 5x plus 3 times our y is 1 equals negative 7. So 3 times 1 is 3. So to solve for y, we're going to go, or to solve for x, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So 5x is equal to negative 10. Divide both sides by 5. And x equals negative 2. So my coordinate here is going to be negative 2, comma 1 for the point of intersection. All right, on to the last one here. So here we'll notice again that neither one are opposites and neither one is a multiple of the other. So I'm going to multiply the top one here by 4 and the bottom one here by 3. And right now, 4 times 3x is 12x, 3 times 4x is 12x. Neither one is opposite sign, so we're going to go ahead and make one of them negative. This time I'll take the top one to be negative. Again, it doesn't matter, it's your choice. 4 times negative 3x is going to be, let's go and change this here, negative 12x. Negative 4 times negative y, 9y is positive 36y. And negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. Now we'll distribute the 3. 3 times 4 is 12x. 3 times negative 12 is negative 36y. And 3 times 36 is going to be 108. All right, now we're going to combine our like terms. So the x's cancel, the y's cancel, so I have 0. And on the right side, negative 36 plus 108 is going to be 72. At this point here, we have no variables remaining. So we have a statement that is not true. This is false. 0 does not equal 72. Therefore, my answer is no solution. If it were a true statement like 72 equals 72 or 0 equals 0, it would have been infinitely many solutions. All right, so that's how you do elimination. Now we're going to get to these word problems here. It says, define your variables. What are you solving for? Set up 2 equations using the information given. Solve the system using your method of choice, so substitution, elimination, or graphing. And yeah, so let's go and see this. Number 5, it says, Marcy bought a total of 20 used books and CDs during a yard sale for a total of $54.50. If books cost $1.50 each and CDs cost $5 each, how many of each did she buy? So how many is first off what we're looking for. That's like number of. And what we're talking about here are used books and CDs. So for X, I'm going to say X is the number of used books. And for Y, we're going to say it's the number of CDs. All right, now when I write my equations, I look for certain things to tell me what to write down. So first off, I notice it says she has a total of 20 used books and CDs. So that means you're looking for, so it's a total number, right? So there's another one else that says a total of 5450. So those two totals are going to help you to write your equations. So it says we have a total of 20 used books and CDs. So we have X plus Y is equal to 20. So the number of used books plus the number of CDs is 20 total. And then it goes on to tell us that we spent $54.50 in total. A book costs $1.50, so that's going to be 1.50x plus, and the CD costs $5 each, 5y, which is going to equal 54.50. Okay, at this part right here, you're going to choose your method to solve for x or y. Me, I think I'm going to use elimination. And the reason why is, or you could actually solve it too, but I noticed here that if I multiply this right here to eliminate the y's, I can multiply this by -5. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So off over here, let's go and write this over here. So -5 times x is going to be -5x. -5 times y is going to be -5y. And don't forget to distribute all the way across the equal sign. So -5 times 20 is -100. We'll rewrite the previous one below it, right below it. All right, so -5 plus 1.5x is going to be -3.50x. -5y plus 5y cancels to 0. And then we have -100 plus 5450, which is going to be -45.50. So to solve this for x, we're going to divide by -3.50. And here we're going to get that x equals, give me 1 second. All right, so we have -45.5 divided by -3.5. And that gives us a total of 13. So x equals 13. And now to figure out our y value, we're going to go ahead and take 13 and plug it into one of the originals. And I think x plus y equals 20 would probably be the easiest original to do. So let's go with x equals... Sorry, let me erase that. Oh my bad. Change the color of this just so we can see better. So we have x plus y equals 20. So x plus y is equal to 20. We're going to substitute in the 13 for x. Let's go ahead and subtract this 13 over. And we get that y is equal to 7. So you have a coordinate point of 13, 7, but the question asks, how many of each did she buy? So let's write a sentence here. Let's see, I'll write it in red. Marcy bought 13 used books and 7 CDs. And there's my answer. So the 13 was the number of used books, so that's x. And y is the number of CDs, which was 7. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 6 now. Landon babysits and works part-time at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas over the summer. 1 week he babysat for 3 hours and worked at Six Flags for 10 hours and made $109. The next week he babysat for 8 hours and worked at Six Flags for 12 hours and made $177. How much does Landon make per hour at each job? So how much per hour at each job? All right, so we're going to, again, I like to use x and y as my variables. So x would be not really number of hours at each job, it's how much does he make. So something like kind of like a cost, but we'll write money per hour. First thing he says he does is babysits. So number of hours, the money per hour babysitting, and then money per hour that he works at Six Flags. Okay. So our first sentence says, in 1 week, he babysat for 3 hours. So that's going to be 3x. Plus, worked at Six Flags for 10 hours. So that's plus 10y. And he made $109 that day. The next week, he babysat for 8 hours. So 8x. And worked at Six Flags for 12 hours plus 12y. And this time, he made $177. All right, when looking at these here, there's nothing I can multiply to get one to the other. Like, just multiply one to get to the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate my x's here. So I'm using elimination. I'm going to multiply the top by 8 and the bottom by 3. And one of them has to be negative, so I'll take the top one to be negative. All right, so we have negative 8 times 3 is negative 24x. Negative 8 times 10 is negative 80y. And then negative 8 times 109, let me put that in the calculator real quick. So negative 8 times 109 is negative 872. On the bottom, 3 times 8x is 24x. 3 times 12y is 36y. And then 3 times 177 is 531. All right, now we're going to combine those so the x's cancel. We have negative 80 plus 36, and that's going to give us negative 44y. And then we have negative 872, and we're going to add 531 to that, and that gives us negative 341. All right, let's verify that we have this correct. So 3 hours and 6 legs for 10 hours, and you made $109. 8x plus 12y equals 177, so negative 24, negative 872. All right. Yep. Okay. So last, we're going to divide both sides by negative 44. So negative 341 divided by negative 44 is going to be 7.75. So y equals 7.75. Now we're going to take this and plug it back into one of the originals to figure out our x value. So we'll do 3x, so 3 times 7.75 plus 10y equals 109. 3 times 7.75 is going to be 23.25. Now we're going to go ahead and subtract that 23.25 to the other side. Oh, there should be a plus sign here, sorry. So we have 10y equals, so we have 109 minus 23.25. And that gives me 85.75. And last, we're going to divide that by 10. And that gives us 8.575. And I just see I made a mistake here. So you got to be careful with what I just did. Y'all probably caught that earlier, but if you look here, y is 7.75, and I plugged it in for x. So let me write this real quick. Sorry about that error there. All right, so let's go back and re-plug that in. So we have 3x plus 10 times 7.75 equals 109. 3x plus 10 times 7.75 is 77.5 equals to 109. Minus 77.5 from both sides. That gives us 3x is equal to, let's see, 109 minus 77.5, which is 31.5. We're going to divide by 3. Which is 10.5. So x equals 10.5. All right. So what does this mean in terms of a sentence? It means that, so for babysitting, so what's his name? Landon earns $10.50 babysitting per hour and $7.75 for Six Flags. And again, that's per hour. I just am running out of space here. So that's how much Landon is making per hour. All right, for the last one, Kent has a collection of pennies and nickels with a value of $1.98. The number of pennies he has is 5 less than twice the number of nickels. How many of each coin? So X is going to be the number of pennies. And Y will be the number of nickels. So first off, Ken has a collection of pennies and nickels with a value of $1.98. So this one's a little bit tougher. You have to know that a penny is worth 1 cent. So that's 0.01x. Plus the number of nickels would be 0.05y, which is $1.98. Then for the second one, it says the number of pennies is. So we know is means equals, and we said number of pennies is X. So X equals. And then we have 5 less than twice. So less than is a turnaround phrase. So when we do twice the number, that's 2x minus 5. All right, so we have these two equations here. This one, let me see. Nickels is y. Sorry about that. I put an x there. That should be y. So the number of pennies is equal to 5 less than twice the nickels. Okay, so this is going to be a substitution problem. It's solved for x. We're going to substitute in for x. So over here, we're going to say 0.01 times 2y minus 5 plus 0.05y is equal to 1.98. So then from here, we multiply, so 0.01 times 2. All right, let me see this real quick. 0.01 times 2 is 0.02. 0.01 times 5 is 0.05 plus 0.05y equals 1.98. 0.05y plus 0.02y is 0.07y. I'm bringing everything else down. Let's go ahead and isolate this y. So we're going to minus 0.05 from both sides. So now we have 0.07y is equal to 1.93. Last, we're going to divide both sides by 0.07. And 1.93 divided by 0.07 is 27.5714. So let's see, y equals, let me see. All right, let's make sure we didn't make a mistake here. So sometimes you have to go back to it because I know we can't have this part of a decimal here. So Ken has a collection of pennies and nickels with a value of $1.98. So the number of pennies he has, so we know that 0.01 plus 0.05y, because a nickel is a penny and a penny is 0.01 cents and a nickel is 0.05 cents equals $1.98. And it says the number of pennies, so x equals 5 less than twice the number of nickels, so that's fine. We're going to plug in for x. So 0.01 times 2y minus 5. So I'm just verifying my work here just because when you look at this answer, it's not reasonable. So 0.02y and then 0.01 times -5. There we go. So this should be -0.05. And that probably will change everything. So Let's go ahead and update that. So small errors like that, just be careful. And then we have 0.05, 1.98. So we combine those. And again, this right here should be a minus sign, not a plus. So when I'm solving this, I'm going to add 0.05, not subtract it. So let's see if this takes care of my small error there. Okay, so sometimes you do have to rework those problems and make sure you are doing it correctly if you get an error. So 0.07y is equal to 2.03. Let's go ahead and divide both sides by 0.07 now. Let's see what happens here. So 2.03 divided by 0.07, and that gives me 29. So y is equal to 29. Now to get, that's going to be the number of nickels. I have 29 nickels. To get my x value, you see this equation right here, we just plug it into there. So x equals 2 times 29 minus 5. So 2 times 29 is 58, minus 5 is 53. So here we're going to say Kent has 53 pennies. And 29 nickels. All right, and I believe that completes the review for this.